You're John Tavares, the kid from Mississauga who dreamed of wearing the maple leaf, who walked away from the New York Islanders to fulfill that childhood fantasy. Now, 7 years later, that same organization is essentially telling you to take a massive pay cut or hit the road. How's that for a plot twist that even Hollywood couldn't script? The Toronto sports media landscape exploded this week when analyst Bryan Hayes delivered what might be the most controversial take of the summer. Speaking with the bluntness of a surgeon wielding a scalpel, Hayes declared that the Maple Leafs should offer Tavares a maximum of $5 million per season, nearly half of what the captain reportedly expects to earn. But here's where it gets really interesting. Hayes isn't some random talking head throwing around hot takes for clicks. He's a respected voice in Toronto hockey circles, and his words carry weight. When he says the Leafs need to start winning negotiations, he's essentially calling out years of organizational weakness that have kept this franchise stuck in mediocrity. The Duchene comparison that changes everything. Hayes dropped at bombshell by pointing to Matt Duchene's recent contract with the Dallas Stars. For years at $4.5 million annually. On the surface, it seems like a random comparison, but dig deeper and the parallels are striking. Both players entered the NHL around the same time. Both are now in their mid-30s facing questions about their declining speed and effectiveness. Both have been productive but not elite performers in recent seasons. The key difference? Duchene accepted market reality, while Tavares reportedly still believes he's worth $7 to $8 million. That is our offer. Take it or leave it. Hayes declared with a kind of finality that makes executives squirm. 4 years by $4.5 million. If you don't like it, no problem, we will move on. You have to start winning negotiations. The brutal honesty is refreshing in a league where everything is typically sugar-coated with corporate speak. Hayes is essentially saying what many fans are thinking. Enough is enough with the loyalty contracts that have kept this team spinning its wheels. What makes this comparison even more compelling is the context. Duchene looked at a situation in Dallas, a competitive team, a good organization, a place where his family was comfortable, and said, "You know what? I'll take less money to stay somewhere I want to be." Sound familiar? Those are exactly the same arguments Tavares has been making about Toronto. The playoff performance problem that won't go away, while Hayes at least believes Tavares deserves a contract offer. His co-host Jeff O'Neill represents a growing faction of fans and analysts who think it's time to cut ties entirely. O'Neill's argument centers on the most painful truth in Maple Leafs hockey. When the games matter most, this core group consistently falls short. The numbers from the Florida Panthers series tell a devastating story. Tavares managed just 2 goals in 7 games while posting a -4 rating. For context, that's the kind of production you'd expect from a third-line player, not someone earning over $11 million annually. If the Florida Panthers aren't going anywhere, how they have all these guys locked in, that's the bar. O'Neill pointed out, you're looking to get over the hump. Why is a priority that blended into a series to get over the top? This cuts to the heart of the Tavares dilemma. Regular season production is nice, but championship teams need players who rise to the occasion when everything is on the line. Tavares has had multiple opportunities to be that player for Toronto, and each time he's come up short. The contrast is stark. 38 goals and 74 points in the regular season show he can still produce, but 2 goals and a -4 in a playoff series elimination suggests he might not be the answer for a team desperate to get over the hump. Management's lukewarm response speaks volumes. Perhaps the most telling indicator of Tavares' uncertain future came from General Manager Brad Treliving's year-end press conference. When asked about the captain's future, Treliving's response was notable for what it didn't say. "I'm a huge John Tavares fan. Had a really good discussion with him." Treliving began, but then came the caveat that should have Tavares' agent worried. "We've got to take a step back, meet with our group. How do we best move forward? What are the costs? All those things that go into a contract and everything else. How does it fit within the puzzle?" Those aren't the words of a GM eager to retain a franchise cornerstone. They're the calculated comments of an executive who's weighing all options, including the possibility that this relationship has run its course. The phrase, "how does it fit within the puzzle?" is particularly revealing. It suggests Treliving views Tavares as one piece among many, not an irreplaceable foundation. This represents a seismic shift from the fanfare and excitement that surrounded his original signing. The salary cap mathematics that don't lie the harsh reality of the NHL salary cap adds another layer of complexity to this situation. Toronto has approximately $19 million in space this summer, but they need to fill multiple roster spots, including potentially re-signing Tavares, Tyler Bertuzzi, and several other players. If Tavares commands his reported asking price of $7 to $8 million, it severely limits the team's flexibility to address other needs. That same money could be used to sign 2 or 3 complementary players who might collectively provide more value than an aging Tavares. The Duchene comparison becomes even more relevant when viewed through this lens. Dallas secured a proven veteran at below market value, freeing up cap space to invest in other areas. It's exactly the kind of shrewd roster management that championship teams employ. The emotional toll of business decisions in this situation perfectly captures the brutal reality of professional sports. Sometimes loyalty and business objectives are fundamentally incompatible. Tavares represents everything Toronto fans wanted: hometown connection, leadership, genuine desire to win in blue and white. But wanting something and being able to afford it are two different things. The Maple Leafs have been criticized for years for being too loyal to aging players, handing out contracts based on past performance rather than future potential. The crossroads moment that defines legacies of Tavares' decision will likely define how this era of Maple Leafs hockey is remembered. If they re-sign him to a large contract and continue to struggle in the playoffs, it will be viewed as another example of Toronto's inability to make difficult but necessary choices. Conversely, if they let him walk and fail to adequately replace his production, the decision will be second-guessed for years. There's no middle ground here. This is a franchise-altering decision that will have ripple effects for years to come. What's clear is that the old approach hasn't worked. 7 years of Tavares' leadership have produced impressive regular seasons, but no meaningful playoff success. Sometimes change, even painful change, is the catalyst for breakthrough moments. The verdict: a franchise finally ready to choose winning over sentiment to debate over John Tavares' future reveals a franchise that might finally be ready to prioritize championship aspirations over emotional attachments. Whether that means signing him at a significant discount or moving on entirely, the Maple Leafs appear committed to a new, more ruthless approach. For Tavares, this represents a humbling moment in what is a distinguished career. The hometown hero who once commanded $11 million annually is now being told his market value might be less than half that amount. The ultimate question isn't whether Tavares deserves better treatment. It's whether the Maple Leafs deserve better results. After years of playoff heartbreak, Toronto fans might finally be ready to support whatever difficult decisions are necessary to bring home a Stanley Cup. This summer's negotiations will reveal whether both sides are ready to embrace that new reality, or if another year of unrealistic expectations will keep this franchise trapped in the same cycle of regular season success and playoff disappointment. The clock is ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Sometimes the most important victories happen in the front office, not on the ice. Are you ready to see if Toronto finally has the courage to make the tough call? Share your thoughts below. Do you think Tavares should take the discount to stay, or is it time for both sides to move on? Hit that like button if you're ready for the Leafs to prioritize winning over everything else.